now.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, anyone that's watching this. This is Tim Gillard, school counselor at CBC High School, talking with Kelly Hauer from AmeriCorps St. Louis. She's the Member Services Director at AmeriCorps St. Louis. And we're talking about how AmeriCorps St. Louis works a little bit and how it could possibly be an option for someone who graduates high school and then wants to spend some time doing some service. And thanks, Kelly, for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
So I guess I might start a little more bigger picture.
Yes,
and give
please.
just a pretty general background about what AmeriCorps is.
That would be great.
So AmeriCorps is a really great national service alternative to something more long-term like the military or other service options like the Peace Corps, right, which is 2.5 years, and military is at least 4 years. It's a pretty big commitment, but AmeriCorps is, for most programs, about a year commitment. Some programs are shorter; they're 6 months, or even there's summer terms that are 3 months long. So it's a nice alternative to some of those pretty extensive and longer term commitments. Mm-hmm. There are also a lot of different avenues for service in the AmeriCorps realm. So there is disaster response, there's conservation and environmental stewardship, there's education. Education's a big one. That's probably AmeriCorps' biggest, one of their biggest focus areas. There's, assisting with poverty, there's dealing with the elderly or with Native Americans. Gosh, I mean, it's kind of the full range of anything in the country that needs help. There's usually an AmeriCorps program that exists to service, and assist those needs. So, there is a great, it's basically a job portal where all of the AmeriCorps programs across the country that are recruiting are listed, and you can even choose different focus areas that you're interested in, or you can search by state if you want to serve in a particular area of the country. So that is my.americorps.gov. That's the job portal, and so you can make an account.
my.americorps.gov, and AmeriCorps is MERICORPS. My.americorps.gov, G-O-V. Would pull that up. And are you referring to jobs or service opportunities?
Service opportunities, yeah. So but a lot of service opportunities might feel like jobs. Because so there are different opportunities where you're placed in a nonprofit and you're doing capacity building for them. You're planning for a fundraising event, or building their network, or doing their social media. I think what I love about AmeriCorps is that there's something for everybody. There's some sort of service opportunity for everyone. So it's a really good way to get involved and to have a meaningful experience, and also to gain a lot of good experience. I like that too, especially for high school students who maybe don't know what they want to do yet. Maybe they don't know what they want to study, if they want to pursue further education. But maybe college is not for them, or again, they're just not sure what they want to study, what they want to spend a lot of money on for their education, and so AmeriCorps is a really great way for people to try things out and to, you can call it a gap year, I guess, but it's a really great way to get life experience, but also training, and just get to try different areas out. Like if you have a certain passion, maybe before you commit, to higher education in that area, you should try it in a job or in some sort of, more intensive experience and see if you actually like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
and then you can, okay, I do really enjoy this. I want to study this. And so then, if you decide college is the next step for you, that's great, or a trade school, or, community college, whatever path you want to take.
Absolutely. And there are some students who just want to do some service
Mm-hmm.
before going to college, service to the country. And
Mm-hmm.
so AmeriCorps, given the name, we are talking opportunities in the United States, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
AmeriCorps,
Yeah.
you don't go elsewhere out of the
Right.
country, but we are talking about opportunities all over the country,
Oh yeah, big time.
right?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, even in Puerto Rico, yeah, there are
Okay.
definitely different. There are hundreds of programs
So
across the
that
country.
website you mentioned too would help someone understand the opportunities all over the country. Um,
Exactly.
would a student from St. Louis who's interested in volunteering with AmeriCorps necessarily interact with AmeriCorps St. Louis at all? Or
Potentially. So I guess, yeah, I can talk a little bit about my particular program. So we
yes,
are,
please.
we're one of the many, one of hundreds,
Yeah, what makes
and
AmeriCorps St. Louis different? And
sure.
then, what also a big thing to learn about would be what a high school student would need to do to prepare for that sort of thing, or you know, be admitted into it or whatever. What's the chronology of how things may typically go?
Sure. So my program, I technically work for a nonprofit, and we exist as a nonprofit to run this AmeriCorps program. So we have 42 AmeriCorps members they serve an 11-month term between August, so it's September to the following August, so 11
Okay.
months, so essentially a full year. And our program's area of focus is disaster response, environmental stewardship, and also wildland firefighting, which is all kind of, you know,
Yeah,
intertwined in a
thematic,
way. Yeah.
be linked.
Very much boots on the ground kind of service. And so we, as a disaster response team, we will respond nationally. We'll respond to any disaster across the country, including Puerto Rico. We responded to Hurricane Maria a few years ago for about 8 months. We were there, so um, it's yeah. So that piece is very exciting, where there's certainly usually travel involved and going to a place that's been devastated and assisting in whatever way we can. Our motto is see the need, meet the need. And so we'll kind of go and do what needs to be done, which oftentimes is maybe the stuff that no one wants to do or no one knows how to do, kind of the thankless behind the scenes stuff, but that's really important. And then when there aren't that many disasters, we are serving, our day-to-day is serving as a conservation corps. So we're doing a variety of environmental stewardship projects across the state of Missouri and in St. Louis. So we partner with the U.S. Forest Service, the Missouri Department of Conservation, the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, some St. Louis organizations like Great Rivers Greenway, Forest Park Forever, some nonprofits like the Ozark Trail Association, so kind of a variety of conservation partners. And then our members do conservation work, usually some hard manual labor.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
trail clearing and chainsawing, felling trees, doing invasive species removal, just kind of the whole gamut of
And so
outdoor things.
environmental stewardship, that
Hmm.
word means those things, taking
Those
care of the
things, yeah,
environment in
exactly.
various ways, often
Hmm.
labor, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, outdoor, yeah, being
And
outside,
the
and
11th,
then.
yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead.
Well, and then I was going to say the fire part of our program too. So
Yeah.
it's helping with prescribed burning with our partner agencies, but then also our members are trained to be wildland firefighters, and so if there are wildfires that come up in Missouri and we're asked to respond to those, then members are able to get that experience as well. So, and it's obviously very different than, we're not doing buildings, not running into burning buildings. That's very different. This is, more widespread fire out on the ground and dealing with terrain and lots of different things. So, yeah.
And then the 11-month term,
Mm-hmm.
are there various start dates depending on the individual, or do they always start in June or something like that?
Great question. So for our program in particular, it's everyone starts the same, ideally. Everyone starts in September, there's an intensive training period, and then everyone serves their 11 months and ends the program together in August. Now, sometimes, for various reasons, for hiring, issues or whatever, we do have members, one or two members start late or have to end service early if they have to go to college, and there's an early start date. So there is some flexibility. Now, again, we are one of hundreds of AmeriCorps programs, so there are programs starting up at all times. It all depends. Yeah. And again, some are 11 months, some are 12 months, some are 6 months, 3 months long. So there's something for everybody. It just depends on, what you're interested in and the length of the commitment that you're looking for, and if you get in. So because some programs are like ours, I'll be honest, is pretty competitive. So
can you talk about that a little bit? I don't have a concept of that. Our students are familiar with the idea of selective college admissions, but we don't have experience with things like this and how admissions to something like AmeriCorps might work. Can you talk about that a little bit and the kind of people
Sure.
you're looking for? And also I'm hearing specifically AmeriCorps St. Louis, September to August. There's multiple different types of timelines and opportunities all over the country. I'm hearing that loud and clear. And with the type of people you're looking for and how people would get involved with AmeriCorps, as you talk about that, are you being specific about AmeriCorps St. Louis? Or is that another thing that just varies depending on the AmeriCorps entity you're talking about? So if you could help us understand that.
Sure, it definitely does vary because, so for example, we have 42 members. Now that includes some of our leadership teams who are serving for multiple years. So, but usually we're hiring 30 to 35 new people every term, so every year. So it's 30 slots that we're filling. Some programs are filling one slot. They have one AmeriCorps member doing, whatever they need to be doing, whatever their focus area is. So it definitely, it does depend on the program.
Sure.
So but that job portal that I mentioned, the my.americorps.gov, that is a very easy way for people to apply, because you can fill out an AmeriCorps application, and it's a bit like a resume, but there's also a motivational statement, a couple motivational statements. Why do you want to serve? Right? Why do you want to serve in AmeriCorps? Maybe why do you want to serve in this particular area, or for this particular program? You can tailor it as much as you want, or make it really vague and then apply to a variety of different programs and see what happens. If you're not sure what you want to do, apply to 10 different things and see how it goes. So there are definitely some options there, and then honestly it's on the individual program and what they require and just what their application process is. For our program in particular, you do need to submit an official application as well as 2 references, and then there's an interview process, and
when does that, official with the September start date, when does that start?
Great question. So our program, we start recruiting in February. So we're recruiting now because, again, we have to fill 30 to 35 slots, and we are taking people from all across the country. And for us, it's really important because we are a core, and so members are living and serving communally together all the time. And that's a very unique and special environment, and we have to be very picky about who we bring on. It's got to be a certain type of person, and we definitely want diversity because we want to bring a diverse group together, but they have to have some similarities, and it's got to be a good fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same for our high school, same for all the colleges we deal with,
Sure.
You don't want to drop a little toxin into the equation of the community that you're trying to build.
Right.
So students that are interested, I'm hearing loud and clear that my.americorps.gov is a great place to start to learn about different opportunities. And then the contact information they would need is in there. In terms of the when they're actually serving, I understand it's volunteer work, but what is provided for them by AmeriCorps in terms of lodging and food and that sort of thing? Or are they, well, they're living communally, so I'm wondering, does it cost someone a lot of money to volunteer with AmeriCorps? Or and obviously,
I guess that would depend on the program. So for our program, well, for I guess bigger picture, all AmeriCorps members should receive a living stipend. So you do get some sort of income for being a national service member right now, and it varies a little bit program to program and state to state sometimes. Right now, our living stipend is about $1,400 a month. And so that goes toward living expenses, rent, utilities, things like that. But, obviously for our program, we're aware that that's what members are making. It's not a lot of money. And so we do our best to supplement where we can. So we provide a modest food budget, and members are going and serving out on a team and each week. And so they pool that money together and buy groceries together and make group meals, things like that. We have a fleet of work trucks, big trucks and vans that members drive to projects, so they're not, using their own personal vehicles.
Okay.
And we provide a lot of equipment, so all the firefighting gear and a work pack, helmet, a lot of the personal protective equipment. We provide all of that, and usually programs provide some sort of uniform as well. So the goal is to not have national service members spending a lot of money to serve. That's definitely not.
Right.
It's more that they're not making a lot of money
because
it is service.
It is service. Yep. Absolutely.
But the living stipend, the monthly living stipend, is usually enough to cover the basics. And if it's not, because it is interesting, there are obviously programs in San Francisco, in New York City, kind of notoriously expensive cities. And so in that case, I would assume that either the living stipend is higher or the program is really supplementing, helping to supplement a lot, so members can live comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least, we generally survive.
It's not, we shouldn't be thinking sandals Cancun on anything,
right.
but
But then another big perk of AmeriCorps that is really a great thing is the education award that members receive at the end of a term. And so as there is an hour, a number of hours that you do need to serve in order to
earn the award.
Complete a term, a term of service, and then you receive an education award. So for a full term, so that's an 11-month commitment. The education award is at this point actually about $6,000 that the member can then use toward tuition in the future, or if someone has already done any sort of schooling and has student loans, it can go toward those student loans. But it can also be used for like NOLS courses and like, EMT school. Like it can be
Okay.
used in a variety of ways. And there are many schools, I should say, across the country that they'll match
Wow.
the education award.
Huh.
And you, as a member, you can serve for, you can earn two full education awards. So if you served for 2 full terms, you can get,
Yeah.
$12,000.
That might
and
even be
then
matched.
be doubled or
Yeah.
matched. Yeah. So
Wow.
it can be a really nice financial assistance
Given that,
package.
is it, I know this varies everywhere too, but let's talk AmeriCorps St. Louis. Is it common for your volunteers to be 18 years old, or are they considered, wow, this young volunteer, just out of high school coming in? What's the average age of AmeriCorps people? You don't have to be exact on it, but just
Sure.
anecdotally.
Sure. So our program, our average age is pretty consistently 23.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it's a little on the older side. Usually we take folks who've graduated from college, but we also usually have a pretty wide age range. Right now, our core age range is 19 to 29,
Okay.
and then
All right. So,
everything in between. So
okay.
we do, at our program, we definitely do hire, 18, 19 year olds. There are other programs where they hire like mostly younger
Okay.
folks, people in their late teens and early 20s. So
It sounds like
I
a
would say
really,
AmeriCorps in general is definitely tailored to the younger adult.
okay. That helps a lot. Yeah. It sounds like a really interesting potential idea for a gap year for
Oh
students.
yeah,
Um,
it's a great opportunity
and
for
is
sure.
the 2 year the max? Does anyone do 3 terms,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah,
so
2
you
years
can do?
is not the max. I believe the max is 4 years
Okay.
for a state national, and then you can also do 4 years of a Vista term, which Vista is more focused on uh, helping with poverty, and they're more like placed in nonprofits and doing capacity building for those nonprofits. And it's a little more kind of indirect service, less boots on the ground, um, more of the kind of event planning or social media kinds of things, behind the scenes work in nonprofits. So yeah, there's opportunities to serve for a long time in AmeriCorps. But I will say, in my personal opinion, that's not really the point of AmeriCorps. I view our program and I view AmeriCorps as a really great stepping stone into a career path or into some sort of path that might involve more schooling. But you know, I think it's really key to take young individuals who are already interested in serving. They already have some sort of ethic of service because they're willing to give up any sort of amount of time in their life to serving their country. That's a
Yeah.
really beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to harness that. We want to harness that and further develop that ethic of service,
Mm-hmm.
give them tools that they will use for the rest of their lives. There's obviously the hard skills that are involved for our program. That's chainsawing, it's learning how to sharpen trail tools and
Yep.
use a
Yep.
Pulaski and things like that, how to fight a fire. But more importantly, members are learning teamwork. They're learning conflict resolution. They're learning
Problem
how
solving of all.
problem solving. Oh, problem solving up the wazoo. Yes.
Working in a group.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
And they're learning so much about themselves and what makes them passionate and what makes them, want to, what they want to improve in the world. And so giving them the tools like that and developing their ethic of service, we then want them to go out into the world and make it a better place. So again, yeah, AmeriCorps is a really good stepping stone into something else.
Okay. Well, that's really, really helpful. I've learned a lot already here, and I really appreciate your time explaining this. And it's exciting to think about for some of my students here.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, so thank you very much for that. It sounds like the best place, I always ask, well, what's the best way for students to learn more? It sounds like starting with that website really is the best place to learn more.
I think so too, and you know, and AmeriCorps has its own website too, just online. So because the job portal, you do have to make an account, which is free, but
Mhm.
you know, it's a little more work.
Yeah.
So, but if anyone's just sort of researching, just the general AmeriCorps website is a good
Okay.
place to start, because then you can also learn more about you know, different programs within AmeriCorps. Like I said, there's State National, which is what my program is, but then there's Vista, there's NCCC, and then there's even Senior Corps for anyone
Okay.
who's
Maybe I could
probably
learn
doesn't
about
apply to
that.
your high schoolers, but
No, no.
yeah,
Um,
there are different facets of it.
okay, that's really good to hear too.
Mm-hmm.
I have one student that has helped me get to know AmeriCorps.
Mm-hmm.
He's a junior and he has interest in this kind of service for sure. And even his specific interest is around environmental stewardship. So
Right.
it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of convenient when we looked at it.
Yeah.
We were both surprised together and learning together that the AmeriCorps St. Louis focus is on firefighting and environmental stewardship and
Mm-hmm.
ecology and things like that. So it could be a nice match, but I'm sure
Good.
he's going to be excited to see this and learn about it, and other students will be too. So,
For sure. Well, and what's cool too is there are other conservation corps. There are other AmeriCorps programs across the country that do conservation work. There's Washington Conservation Corps, Texas Conservation Corps,
okay.
Conservation Corps of Minnesota, Iowa. You know, there's Arizona Conservation Corps, Nevada
Yeah.
Conservation Corps. So
Not
there's
just a
lots.
St. Louis
It's
thing
not
then.
just St. Louis. You know, we are one of many, and so it really is neat because you can apply to just some different places across the country and get different experiences. So
Yeah. Okay, and the recruiting for the coming September usually starts around February, at least for
for
AmeriCorps
us,
St. Louis. That's
mm-hmm.
probably not, well, that's an AmeriCorps St. Louis thing because your stuff starts in September, and then students would just start learning how to pursue opportunities through the .gov website, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, and they can see, you know, because we obviously post on there, but when our application opens. So, you know, other programs will be recruiting, you know,
yeah,
on that job board, and we'll have active postings on
great.
there. And so if you don't see anything that you like, just keep checking back, you
Okay,
know.
that's great. And then would it be appropriate to share your contact information with students who are interested locally in something with AmeriCorps St. Louis, or
Sure, of course. Yeah, I mean, they can definitely call our office. So our phone number is 314-772-9002, or they can find our website as well, which is just acstl.org, AmeriCorpsSTL.org.
all right. Oh, okay. So that was, yeah, the phone number there is 314-772-9002. And then the website ACSTL, as in AmeriCorps St. Louis, acstl.org.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Kelly Hauer, Member Services Director for AmeriCorps St. Louis. And thanks a lot, Kelly.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your time and all this information. And it's exciting to learn something new that's available both locally and nationally that could be a good match for some of our guys. So thanks a lot.
I agree. You're very welcome. I think AmeriCorps is unfortunately one of the best kept secrets of the country, you know, because everyone knows the Peace Corps, right? And
Yes.
obviously people know what the military is, but so many people don't know what AmeriCorps is. And it's such a great option for people to serve their country. So I'm always happy to talk about it.
Well, thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching, everyone.